Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, it is Shooter. Oh, hey, Happy New Year again. Of course, we're going to go over swing trade notes real quick. Just give you a little update on what happened today as well. So let's jump right into that. Okay, so my market thesis here is that we're bullish. Okay, however, there's a slant there. It depends on whether the funds actually want to sell here or not, because there's quite a little bit of selling today. And a lot of the stocks, we saw some decent breadth in, some small caps and some Dow. So we'll have to see. Now, let me jump into it. All right, the dollar, I updated this chart, and then I'm just going to go through Motive Wave and do that as well. So maybe 102. That little push right there is where we had our sell-off today. Now I'm going to go through TLT because we're coming off a little bit. The account is extended a little bit. So even though you may have entered on that next entry long, the next one is down at 96.22. Now I'm going to add a caveat there because truthfully, I wasn't really expecting that much of a pullback. I probably should have been, though. This is our wave 4, so it's not likely. So what we should be looking at here is wave 2 to 3. We should overshot that a little bit. So let's just take our top here. So 50% back is about 97.05. We printed 97.59. I mean, close enough for government work, to be candid with you. So to me, this is done. I'm not chasing, but I'd wait and see if you can add down around 96 for some higher range counts as far as TLT is concerned. That's sort of my thought. All right, let's jump into the SPY. Stayed right inside that box. I've got 469.78. Come in and ultimately chop around here. So this flat just keeps building out. I see no reason that it gets below there. I think that shelf is pretty defined here. It breaks below that, we're probably going to retest August 2021 around 453 though. That's just because there's nothing till down here, okay? And there's nothing here till down here. So that's sort of the thought there. All right, looking at the NASDAQ, pretty heavy range here. I saw this count this morning, this intermediate wave down to 394, and we chased some 400s. I don't know, I guess it was just a little over 402.80 something, and then we scaled at 403 and then some at 404. So we had a decent number, and then we covered right at about 458 cents, I think is what we actually covered on to the downside down here. So nice way to start off the year. Nice 169% on that with the blend that I was doing. I had a number of strikes in there, just kept building on that. So let's look at the Dow. Really nice breadth today. I mean, it pushed and then it gave it back a little bit. So let me come in here and adjust where our targets are because we're in this minor wave, minor impulse. So unless we break below our 2, I don't think that breaks. Still looks constructive considering the morning. Sort of our confirmed high. So even though I'm keeping my slope way up here because I think the slope stays up there, but it might not. Pretty deep breath here off of this 3 back down to this 4 at 357. So that's going to become actually it's still an impulse. So that's sort of the thought on that. Now, one thing you'll notice in the major markets that I went into, I kept the stops really deep for position trades because you really shouldn't be selling here unless those stops get taken out, because now we've overcome many of the obstacles. Unless we get back below this trend support, I'm not worried about a breakdown at this point. So that's the thought. Now, Russells, we came off a little bit. Counts completely reset. We were looking for maybe 210. Now it's saying our B is in now. So let's restructure that. Let's look at it from a weekly standpoint and see what that tells us. So we were looking for that 213. So right now it says it's done. So this is where, we saw that today in the fact that we had a lot of the micros and the Dow stocks sell off that were bringing us our breath. So hopefully it doesn't stifle our breath. We close above that 205. So now that is our stop to the upside. Right? If we close above that 205.49, then I'm wrong about the downside here. So that's the thought on IWM. Now let me switch back over to the article because I just needed to flip off there because it's very difficult when I can't shake my charts the way I like to shake my charts. So we're just going to flip back and forth once in a while. All right, GLD. I think this is going to turn into a position trade because, we're not giving anything back. We're holding up really well. Considering spot gold and what silver and platinum's doing, GLD must be benefiting from some kind of cost synergy. So, I think we're heading towards that 197. So, continue to hold. Now, Tesla, I did nothing with Tesla today except I caught a short for like 10% first thing this morning, and I was done. I probably should have chased it further than that, but I just wanted to put something on the books and end there. All right, that's enough, Roscoe. He still doesn't like those fireworks. We just have to bear with him. That's what it is. So I'm thinking 240 is my next entry where I want to take it. Add back to the longs. So that's my thought on Tesla. Now, Snow, I had planned on opening a position today, but with how weak breadth was and weak the Dow and small caps were, I decided to wait. So we're going to see what that is tomorrow. You know, I would think if we get down around 195, I get real interested there. Now, 5.9 was also on my radar. Came up about $2 since I actually printed this chart. So I'll look at it first thing in the morning. We might throw something on there. We're chasing that 115 is the thought. So I sort of wanted to let the dust settle a little today. Now jumping into Bitcoin. Now I'm going to go back to my live chart. Obviously, we were up around 45,173 when I printed the chart for swing trade notes. We're now at 44,949. So it goes right at 50% of the candle. My target is 47,125, and I'll go put that in swing trade notes and update that daily chart. As a matter of fact, I'm printing a copy of it now. And then we get a back test of maybe 45,751. So we've got a lot of ground to catch up here. You know, I don't see any reason why the new count changes, even with 50. You know, we didn't close on the high side of the candle. That would have been great for some euphoria, but we didn't get that. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. Just continuing to build out this flag here. You know, target one intermediate wave is 2683. Still constructive, you know, hold. All right, let's look at GBTC. You know, looking at a minor wave 3 up around 380.56. You know, our minor wave 2 just got put in at roughly that 33.89. So that next entry long that we printed, we're pretty much right there. So now we're looking for our target 2 up around our primary wave 3 at 39. Now realize this is going to build out a flat right here. Then we're going to come off. And anytime I see the ETNs or the ETFs lead, okay, so we get this breakdown in GBTC. Now this is also part of my thesis of a sell the news kind of event. So, you know, I would be taking profits up around 38.50. I would, right around that 38, because that's probably where you're going to get your most out, right? That's just my 2 cents. All right, let's look at some of the miners. Bitfarms gave way too much back. I got stopped today. Still hasn't given me my 275 to move it back. In the morning, I might move that down. That's my thought. Hive got stopped out of that too today. I forgot I had my stop set there. Should have tightened them up is what I should have done, but I wasn't paying attention. Unfortunately, I do that too sometimes. All right, so then let's take a look at Marathon. You know, now it looks like this downtrend is in play. Now it looks really like it's in play to the downside. So we need to get above. So short stop. If you're long Marathon, you know, it's probably a good place to sell at least some covered calls. If you want to hang, hold, and your short stop is going to be up there around 31.30. That's just sort of my thought. All right, then Iris Energy, you know, again, this count suggests that we're heading to the downside. It's coming off as well. So now, we're clearly in this downtrend. We've reset, our minor wave. It's now become a minor wave, trying to get that looking pretty. Intermediate waves are gone at the moment. So we're going to have this chop zone down here. We're going to be there for quite a little while. Looks like well into July, actually. We're going to put this 174 in and 5. Actually, it's not a bad short here. I don't really want to short any Kirk stocks, but really, it's not a bad short right there. This leg right here, look at this, man, boom. It got past the 50%, went up to, closed above the 78.6, which is a euphoric exhaustion. Closed towards the bottom of the candle. And what do I say when you have this breadth of the off number? That is sheer buyer exhaustion, So the likelihood is that we get some cascade, down to at least 50% back. So if it's down to $4, it's very viable. One, it's going to be a little challenging. You wait for your 1 to come in, bounce to our 2, right? You should get about $8. That's where you short right there. That's sort of that low. Okay. All right, let's look at Riot. Okay, now count has switched on this as well. This is our intermediate wave 2 is in. So this is now, I'm going to switch this up and say, it looks to me like miners came off today. So close above 1875. I'm wrong to the downside. Intermediate wave 4 is way the heck down here. We're looking for our intermediate wave 3 down here is going to get us down to the pennies. You can break down. The one thing about Elliott wave, it measures both sides of the tape. It doesn't care whether it's dollars or cents. So, if we had change up on the bullish side, it would measure it, but also measures change to the downside. It's measuring the whole pattern. So the assumption that it's in a much larger downtrend as far as the cycle wave, and this was a euphoric push that wasn't in the tape kind of thing. So, all right, also wanted to look at coin. Coin came off. A lot of damage in crypto today. Even though the count hasn't changed, it's going to change. It's going to flip south probably. This is probably going to do something like this in the next 2 or 3 days is what I would think happens. I don't know what changes the trajectory of the upside. It might actually accelerate it a little bit. Anytime you get that kind of a euphoric off on a push like that, if it gets right to 50% back, it's got a great bounce, or it's a great candidate for a bounce. Let's put it that way. All right, then let's take a look at XRP, and then I think that's going to be it, but I'm going to go flip back over to the article and look. You know, XRP, just holding on. This is just I'm building a base here. Sort of like I did with Solana and Link. I always think of Dory, you know? Keep on swimming, keep on swimming, keep on. That's what my mindset is. Once it goes into the tank where I'm building a position, that's what we're doing. So, well, that's pretty much it, folks. Great trading. Until next time.